From the first episode to the last, Devilman Crybaby takes you on a journey of Ryu Asuka and Akira Fudo, two teenagers who are seemingly fated together to start the end of the world. While some people who have watched the series have already made comparisons to Evangelion and pretty much any other anime with a brown-haired character and a white-haired character, to some people's surprise, Devilman actually started way back in 1972 and basically paved the way for a lot of notable imagery in a lot of famous anime and manga today. Examples like Evangelion as previously mentioned, Berserk, Kill la Kill, and many others. Hell, even the ending to the end of Evangelion film was a homage to the end of the original Devilman manga. Devilman for the last 40 plus years has made a name for itself, not just because of the dark imagery that it had in the early 70s, but for the characters and story it had, the themes of war, isolation, alienation, and even the way that we treat our own people. Devilman had a lot to say, and it said it all. Along with that, the series creator Go Nagai also made other famous series such as Mazinger Z, Cutie Honey, co-created Ghetto Robo with the late Ken Ishikawa, and also pushed the Ishi genre to the mainstream, and even was credited as the man who created the super robot genre. Go Nagai has a lot under his belt for the influence he has on the world. The fact that most of the series he created or helped to create all became big successes and are still viewed by many today as their influence for their works is rather astonishing. From my eyes, he sits on top of the anime world with Hayao Miyazaki. But what does this have to do with Devilman Crybaby, you ask? Well, I just wanted to talk a bit about the past that Devilman has had and how up to now it's been viewed by society over the last 40 years and its influence on anime and manga culture. But not only that, but Devilman Crybaby marks the 50th anniversary of Go Nagai as a manga artist. So with that all in mind, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about my thoughts and feelings on Devilman Crybaby and share the joy this show has given me thus far.
Fikira was a Russian scholar. He died last month.
As everyone has said thus far, the show is nothing short of amazing. The dark and mysterious air the show emits evokes this idea that this isn't your regular anime that you will normally see on Crunchyroll. Which is good, because much like the Castlevania anime that also was released last year on Netflix, we are able to see the show in full force. There are no punches pulled when it comes to the graphic content from Devilman. Much of what you'll see is blood, gore, naked bodies, very sexual scenes, plenty of sexual violence as well. The way the show's art is done is presented in a way where it's a bit more goofier and cartoony to the side of how it's presented, where you can kind of feel it not take itself too seriously, but at the same time, when important moments do happen in the show, it excels in its art style and it oozes with kind of a natural grace to it. There also reminds me of another show, the 2014 anime Ping Pong the Animation, which is interesting since the director of Ping Pong is also the same director for the new Devilman Crybaby show. If you haven't given this man the light of day with his work, go do yourself a favor and watch Ping Pong along with the rest of his works. Along with the unique art style, the soundtrack for the series is something I still need to get around to listening for several more listens. But throughout the show, many different genres are touched upon, ranging from lo-fi synths to piano ballads to full banger EDM club beats. In between all these are short, charming, sweet, upbeat songs that would normally play over like a montage of someone's day or someone's week to fill the space, but a lot of it has kind of a unique hip-hop feel to it with record scratches and chill beats built into them. If anything, it reminds me a lot of the chill hip-hop anime live streams that have been really big on YouTube lately. A better way to describe the whole soundtrack to Devilman Crybaby is if you imagine Drive with the Hotline Miami soundtracks, but with a little bit of Animal Crossing inspired tunes between all the melancholy. Now the characters. While most are in a few episodes in this very short 10 episode series, the two main characters that will keep your attention 70% of the time will be Akira and Ryu. Both being the yin and yang to each other, nearly inseparable for the most part. Both are childhood best friends who grew up with each other, and while separated in their late childhood, both are reunited in their mid-teens, Ryu chasing to find Akira in Japan, as he feels Akira is the only person he can trust with the truth of the devils, with his true motive to actually fuse Akira with a devil named Amon to make possibly the first Devilman, a perfect fusion of a devil with his strength and a human with his heart. After this incredible event, Ryu begins to investigate devils in the world, recording and analyzing them for future research with the help of Akira, who ends up fighting and killing the devils they come across. All come to a head when Akira and Ryu start fighting over the future of humanity, whether humans should learn about the devils and begin the process of the next step of evolution, or to kill the rest of humanity to start over with devils at the top of the food chain.
Your choice, Akira. Either live with me, or die with that girl.
While I didn't cry at the end of the show, I did feel sad and I also did feel kind of hollow as well. The ending just comes very abruptly and feels as if there may have been more between the start of the human versus devil struggle and Akira versus Ryu's fight. But like how it is in the manga, the end just kind of comes and stays with you. I don't think there should have been more to elaborate the ending, honestly. That's just not the point of the war or the ending at all. The point was to be very clear that Akira's and Ryu's fight was the point of the series. The strength of humans and the will of humans that have the will to fight for their freedoms and for their lives versus the idea that humanity is weak is just in the way of bigger and stronger species. We all wanted Akira to win. We wanted to know that humanity can once again fend off anything that is thrown its way, but with Akira's death comes the reality that humans are as temporary as time itself. Akira's death is a message on how daft we think of ourselves when we try to do too much for the sake of others. We aren't always meant to win. We learn that failure is good for learning purposes. We learn that we can adapt, to strive better, and to do better, but we can only do so much. Akira is as human as he can be. He tried, he adapted, and he failed. But at the end of the day, he made Ryu cry, and for that, he succeeded in one thing: making Ryu truly understand how human he truly was despite wanting to do nothing with humanity in the first place. Also, I guess there is the message on war, xenophobia, racism, and isolation that the story touches on that reflects on our modern society as we view it and how we perceive our own kind from our own judgmental eyes. That's another video for another time. I'm not going to get into it. I love Devilman Crybaby. It's a bit hard to rewatch knowing the ending and the events leading up to it, but it's a good and fun ride nonetheless and leaves you wanting to just kind of fucking die. It's like, holy shit, that ending just kills you on the inside, but still gives you chills down your spine, wanting to talk about it with people who may have not experienced or have experienced it and how you saw it as. Even though the hype for Devilman Crybaby has died down, rightfully so, it's been close to over 2 months since the show has aired, I still think about it and smile at the idea that Ryu and Akira are buddies again, and only for me to get understandably sad and depressed once again, because goddamn, that ending is fucking horrible. Devilman Crybaby is just a very fun ride. Also, Devilman Crybaby is very accurate to its manga counterpart, and the manga should be also read as a way to complete the series. Get a few extra details and see the difference between the two. While I wish Devilman Crybaby was a bit longer, perhaps 11 to 12 episodes maybe, I'm happy with the end product, and I hope to see more old manga/anime revivals happen through Netflix, as they seem to be doing their best to produce shows with a lot of love and care behind them, such as this prestigious one. While I tried to think of a good way to rate the show to wrap up the review, I kept getting this idea that people would just listen to the number that I had in mind and forget anything else I said, and while the idea of people misconstruing my words to fit their narrative, I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna do me. Reviews of shows that I'm going to be doing will be getting 2 ratings, a number between 0 and 100, and a rating that ranges from trash, could be better, average at best, pretty fucking good, and goddamn. Devilman Crybaby gets an 84 with a side of pretty fucking good. Like the great Melon Man says, is just my opinion. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing here, and make sure to have a damn good one.